All right, today we're jumping into a really fascinating and honestly pretty alarming report from Bob Slavic over at Virtualization Options LLC. His team dug into dozens of case studies, and they zeroed in on the top 10 most damaging examples to answer one big question. What happens when we rush to replace people with AI way too soon? Okay, let's get into it. The whole report really hinges on this one powerful idea, the AI hype versus reality gap. It's that huge space between what we're promised AI can do and what it can actually, and more importantly, safely do right now. We're about to look at some wild examples of companies that tried to leap across that gap, and well, they paid a massive, massive price for it. So why the big rush in the first place? The report calls it the Great Rush. And you can totally picture it, right? All your competitors are making these big announcements about their new AI initiatives. The pressure is on to cut costs, to look like you're on the cutting edge. So what did organizations do? They started getting rid of jobs, thinking they could just plug in an AI and everything would run itself. But, of course, that's not what happened. Not even close. Instead, this big rush led to just catastrophic failures. And I'm not talking about little glitches here and there. We're talking about devastating financial losses, reputations completely destroyed, and some really serious legal trouble. And the most important part, the report makes it crystal clear that every single one of these disasters was preventable. Okay, so let's start where it often hurts the most, the bottom line. Let's talk about the money. Some of the most jaw-dropping failures came from companies that literally bet the farm on unproven AI. And the numbers, they're just staggering. So get this. Our first case is a major financial institution, and they made a really bold move. They got rid of their entire human risk assessment team. These are the experts, the people whose entire job is to spot and evaluate complex market risks. Their logic? A brand new, powerful AI could do it all, but faster and cheaper. And this was the result. A direct loss of $800 million. Just let that number sink in. That's the real-world cost of putting way too much faith in a single, unproven system. So how in the world does a loss that big even happen? Well, the AI was actually pretty good at predicting normal day-to-day market stuff, but it completely missed what the human experts are trained to look for, those rare, out-of-the-blue black swan events. And the damage didn't stop there. It snowballed into another $200 million in fines from regulators and absolutely shattered the confidence of their investors. And this wasn't just happening in the financial world. We saw this same pattern pop up in something that affects all of us, our public infrastructure. An energy company decided to replace all of its experienced human grid operators with a 100% automated AI management system. So, when a major storm rolled in, the AI totally misinterpreted the data from its sensors, and it kicked off this chain reaction of failures. The cost was huge, and it was twofold. You had $200 million in direct damages, for sure, but you also had massive blackouts that left millions of people, we're talking hospitals, homes, businesses, completely in the dark. Look, as awful as those financial losses are, the report makes it very clear that the consequences can be much, much worse than money. This is where we get into the profound human cost. What happens when we trust an untested AI with decisions about our health, our rights, and our personal safety? Take this example from healthcare. A provider, really eager to seem innovative, rolled out this new AI diagnostic tool. The idea was to have it replace their human radiologists for reading medical scans. But here's the kicker. The tool hadn't been properly validated for actual clinical use. The results were just devastating. Real patients were misdiagnosed, leading to wrong treatments, or no treatment at all. This triggered over $100 million in malpractice settlements. Doctors actually lost their medical licenses over it. And, of course, regulators came down hard on the provider. It's just a brutal reminder that you can't automate patient safety. Let's circle back to another financial institution, but this time the failure wasn't just financial. It was deeply unethical. They decided to automate their entire loan approval process, getting rid of the human underwriters who were there to review applications for context and, basic fairness. Well, the AI was trained on historical data. And guess what? That historical data was filled with all of our past societal biases. So the AI didn't just learn those biases, it actually amplified them. It started discriminating against loan applicants based on their race and gender. The fallout was swift. Huge class action lawsuits, massive federal fines, and a complete and total meltdown of public trust. Okay, so hearing all of these stories, it's really easy to feel pretty pessimistic, right? But here's the most valuable part of this entire report. It's not just about pointing out the failures, it's about laying out a super clear path to prevent them from ever happening again. So the big question is, how could all of this have been avoided? The analysis points to a clear framework for success, and it's built on just a few core principles. This isn't about slamming the brakes on innovation, not at all. It's about being way smarter and more thoughtful about how we innovate. So, principle number one, gradual integration. Instead of this risky, all or nothing big bang approach, the successful companies start small. They run pilot programs. And this is so crucial, they keep a human in the loop. That means the AI can make recommendations, but a human expert makes the final call, all while you're constantly checking the AI's performance against the human experts. Second is rigorous assessment. Basically, this means doing your homework before the system ever goes live. You have to audit for bias, for fairness, for safety. You have to set up clear rules for governance so that somebody is always accountable. The report really hammers this home. Your legal and compliance teams can't be an afterthought. They have to be in the room from day one. And third, and this one is so important, you have to invest in your people. Instead of seeing your employees as a line item to be cut, the smart play is to upskill them, train them to work with the AI, redefine their jobs to focus on the things that only humans are great at, things like strategy, empathy, and creative problem solving. And when you put all of these pieces together, it leads you to the central, most powerful conclusion of the entire report. The future isn't a choice between humans or AI. It's about building a powerful, effective partnership between them. The report basically frames this as two different paths you can take. On one side, you've got automation, where the only goal is substitution, just replacing a person. And that's the mindset that led to every single failure we just talked about. But on the other side, you have augmentation. Here, the goal is collaboration. The AI crunches the data, and the humans handle the strategy, the judgment, the empathy. The report has a great term for this: human-AI synergy. And it's really this simple but profound idea that technology and people are just better together. AI is at its absolute best when it's making humans smarter and more capable. And that human oversight is exactly what keeps the AI safe, ethical, and grounded in the real world. So what's the final takeaway from all of this? It's pretty clear. AI is an incredibly powerful tool, but it's just that, a tool. It's not a person. You can't just drop it into a job that needs judgment or ethics or a deep understanding of nuance. The real, lasting success is going to come from organizations that master this new type of collaboration. It's all about partnership, not replacement. And that really leaves us all with one big, provocative question to think about. When you look at how AI is being used and talked about in your own world, in your own company, is the goal to build a partnership that elevates everybody? Or is the goal just to build a replacement? Because the answer to that question could truly make all the difference.